Friends, as we go into John 14 again, I pray to God that you know his encouragement. If you are not his, surrender to come into this family. And if you are his, don't ever forget that you are his family, and nobody goes back to the orphanage. Nobody. Let's continue on, because for every one of us that remember Jesus saying, I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life, I am the only. And for every one of us that will pray in Jesus' name and that we will want what he wants, he says, do not let your heart be troubled. No matter what you're facing, no matter where you are. One of the commentators I read this morning said this, and I quote, in reference to coming into understanding John 14. He says, the application of chapter 14 in John's gospel is significant since for the first time in this gospel, Jesus speaks in detail to his followers concerning their experience in the church following his departure. This chapter is filled with promises addressed directly to the community of faith, not the clergy in Jerusalem or the crowds in Galilee. Jesus is now anticipating that the community he has built, the church, will continue his work after he is gone. Gary Hodge says, the disciples' lives will be a continuation of Jesus' life in the world. That's for you and me too, friends. Think about this. If you are filled with his Spirit, if you are a child of God, a biblical Christian, then you and me, we are literal continuations of Christ and Christ's life and Christ's ministry here on the planet right now. This is why we were saved, for his glory and by his grace. If you've been filled with his Spirit, it's that you would share his story. This is the essence of being an ambassador of Christ. I pray that you will see that there is no hope for those without the truth of God's Spirit and the truth of God's love in them. This is in large part what you and I have been called to do, is to share the good news of what can happen where and when a life is surrendered and captured by the miraculous grace of God, and where his Spirit and his love fill a person to the point of overflowing into faithful living. This is the essence of the passage, perhaps the most telling of all. And again, going back to 1 John, right? We're listening to John in his gospel. John later gives us commentary on his gospel in 1 John. 1 John 2, 3 through 5. By this we know that we have come to know him, Christ, if we keep his commandments. This is how we know if we know him, if we obey his commandments. The one who says, I have come to know Jesus, and does not keep Christ's commandments is a liar. And the truth is not in him. But whoever keeps his word, whoever obeys Christ's commands, in him the love of God has been truly perfected. Friends, I just show you this on the front side. If you want to be encouraged, then love Jesus. If you want to be encouraged and you say you love him, then obey him.